In the communities, after sort of initial fears about how successful the project would be, it's been an overwhelmingly positive feedback from people. I've had so many great anecdotes from people, the guys that are the maintenance guys who look after the public areas, and from community members themselves. There's been great engagement with dads and their children playing table tennis together in a very active way rather than a lot of play equipment, where it's quite passive and parents just sort of sit back and watch their children play. Lots of groups of young people, sort of 13, 14, 15 playing together. I had a great anecdote from a young mother, a single parent with her children, and she recounted thinking one Sunday morning, what shall I do with the kids that's free to do, that where I don't have to travel? And she said, oh, I'll go and play on the ping table tennis table. So it's great that there's something free in local communities, particularly people on a low income, where they can go along and have a lot of fun and potentially engage with other families having fun as well.
Yeah, I think one of the most striking things in recent weeks has been when I went into a care home recently. The lights were quite dim. There was a television showing a film on in the corner. There were about 24 people in the room. 18 of them were either asleep or nearly asleep, facing the film. But then there were a little group of about half a dozen others, and we got playing with them with some of our adapted ping pong activities, and we've got some different size and different coloured balls, stretchy nets down the sides of the tables, and we gradually got people to play the great game. And the clinical psychologist who was there actually, who was observing the people in the room, start moving a chair towards us rather than the people who were asleep. And you could just see the impact of the game, how it was making people interact with each other, chat with each other, hit the ball, have fun, get much more active. And the shame only was when we had to leave at the end, because they just absolutely love it. And we just want to be able to do that more in more homes where people can get active rather than just sit and wait for the next cup of tea to be offered to them or the next meal. You know, wherever we are in the country, here we are in Nottingham today, but whether we're in Leeds or Bradford or London or wherever, there are literally hundreds of people who are in the same situation. They're being looked after, but they're not being stimulated, and they're not really getting up and about and active, and they're not getting their body used, they're not using the mind. Some are in a semi-comatose state. It's just not good enough. We've got to do something about it, and this game helps us to do that, most definitely.
One of the popular sessions, fortunately for us, was the ping sessions, which was fantastic to hear. We had some great feedback from the children that were taking part. Gaming, which again I think they thought was going to be a popular session. There was not many people turning up, so they actually knocked that session on the head and decided that they would continue with the ping sessions. Off the back of that, I then got a call from the gentleman that was taking a lead on the ping project down at the Grange, and he basically asked if there was any more tables that he could then have. So off the back of that, we've now got 3 tables down at the Grange, and they've now got a table tennis ping club running there on a Friday afternoon for the children, and at the moment they're getting between 10 and 15. The other advantage for myself and the team is that it's being delivered by volunteers, so again there's no involvement. However, at the same time, we are keen to support the club that's running on a Friday with Table Tennis England, the Blackpool Table Tennis Club. We hope that they'll be able to go down, provide some coaching, and you know, you never know, there might even be some young people that are interested in joining the club and taking part in table tennis, you know, at a different venue in Blackpool. I was at a review meeting a couple of weeks ago. Some of the changes at the Grange have been implemented over the last 6 months. That obviously includes the programme of the ping that's been delivered. They have seen improvements in antisocial behaviour, arson as well, things like that. You know, there has been a reduction in those figures. over the last 6 months. And I'm not saying it's directly linked with the participation of Ping, but the fact that these children have now got other activities to take part in is obviously having a positive effect on some of the antisocial behaviour that's happening in that area. So yeah, it's a real positive, and we hope that that session continues and more people continue to play. It's not all just about the children as well. Obviously, get mums and dads involved. The more people participating, the better.
We've seen a massive amount of impact from Ping. We've been running it for 3 years now, and each year the impact just increases beyond our expectations. Probably the main impact that we've seen is the work that we've done with Age UK. So with Age UK, we run sessions with their dementia and Alzheimer's group. And the range of dementia within that group is massive. We've got some that are just starting out on that journey, and then some that are quite severely got quite severe dementia. One of the ladies in that group that springs to mind, her dementia is so severe that she can't remember that she's been to play table tennis week on week. So if we ask her, have you played table tennis before, she will always answer no. But the improvement in her skills week on week, her table tennis skills, has been unbelievable, and her hand-eye coordination has improved so much that her carers and the staff there are really shocked by the impact that it's had. We've also worked with Men in Sheds. That's another Age UK project, which is for men over 55. It's based in a warehouse, and it encourages men to come down and just take part in woodwork and a little bit of DIY and things like that. And the purpose of that project is to combat social isolation. It was a well-established project with quite a few men attending week on week, and we decided to take a table tennis table down there and just see what impact it would have. At first, the men were a little bit wary. They'd not come to play table tennis, they'd come to do woodwork, make a bookshelf, whatever else. But as the weeks went on and they got used to our delivery and got to know Sean, who delivers our table tennis sessions, they slowly began to join in. Although the session is about combating isolation, the men, when they were doing woodwork, could work in isolation. Table tennis has meant that they've got to at least pair up with somebody else, if not 3 other people, to play the game. And it's opened up conversations that they would have never had before if they'd not been taking part in table tennis as part of that session. They've continued to carry on at that session, but we've also seen that a number of the men have also started to take up table tennis outside of Men in Sheds as well.
So kind of as part of our programme this year and the last year, we've employed an activator to do a lot of the on-ground delivery for Ping in Leeds. That's been really it's been vital for what we've delivered across the city. Certainly for the last 2 years, without that support from a really enthusiastic, bubbly, charismatic, engaging person that our activator is, we'd struggle to get into some of those hard to reach groups. So I think the challenge for us moving forward is how we can inspire more of those kind of Peters, ping pong Peters we call him. He is a bit of a character, but he's a fantastic ambassador for the sport. How do we inspire more people like Peter to go out and kind of show their love for the game and bring them together? And so it's a little bit less reliant on what we're delivering, a bit more empowering for those kind of community champions in their areas. So that's definitely a focus for us for the next year.
The Liverpool Ping Parlour has been a great benefit for us here in Liverpool. We already had 22 venues across the city, and it's widened that information for everybody to know. We can get it out to everybody through the central location in Liverpool, letting them know about all those other areas that are out there. The clubs and Liverpool League are now really on board because we've been so busy. They are now coming in and wanting to support the centre because it means people are coming to them and joining their clubs or joining a play-on activity like a bat and chat. So they're seeing the numbers going up all the time. So they will now support the Ping Parlour. Liverpool city centre is a very diverse, lots of different cultures coming into it, the centre. We've got the staff, visitors from outside the city and around the city coming into the centre. Culturally, a great diversity of different people. Quite often they might just pass each other in the streets, but because of the parlour, they're communicating better, they're now meeting up, people are coming from one side of the city to meet with others and to challenge each other. So that's been a really positive impact.